Maya walked quickly down the busy street. The sky was soft orange because the sun was going down. She was tired after a long day at work. Her small hands held a grocery bag filled with food she bought for dinner. There were apples, carrots, bread, and some milk inside. Maya wanted to get home fast. She thought about cooking her favorite meal and relaxing after the hard day. She was thinking about many things: her bills, her job, and how to save a little money this month. Her thoughts made her walk faster and forget about everything around her. She did not see the small crack on the sidewalk in front of her. Suddenly, her foot hit the crack, and her grocery bag slipped from her hand. The bag fell with a soft thud on the ground. Apples rolled away from the bag, and a few carrots scattered across the sidewalk. Maya looked down quickly. "Oh no," she whispered to herself. She felt her heart beating fast. She did not want to make a scene in front of the people walking by. People on the street kept walking. Some looked at her for a moment but did not stop. Maya felt alone. She bent down to pick up the apples and carrots one by one. The bread was a little crushed now. She felt her cheeks grow warm. She hoped no one was watching. As she bent over, she noticed a man standing nearby. He looked to be in his late 30s. He wore a dark blue suit, but it was not too shiny or flashy. His hair was short and neat. He smiled gently at Maya. "Let me help you," he said softly. Maya looked up and saw his kind eyes. There was no rush or judgment in his face, just kindness. She felt surprised because most people usually ignore others when they are in trouble. "Thank you," Maya said quietly. The man knelt down to pick up the apples and carrots with her. "It's easy to lose grip when you are in a hurry," he said with a smile. Maya smiled a little too. The man's kindness made her feel better. He picked up the rest of the food and looked at the torn grocery bag. "Do you want me to carry your bag? It looks a little weak now." Maya looked at the bag. It was true the bottom had a small hole, and some carrots almost fell out. She wanted to say yes, but she felt shy. I can manage," Maya said, trying to sound confident. The man shook his head gently. "Please, let me carry it for you. It's no trouble at all." Maya looked at him again and then nodded slowly. She took out some money from her wallet. "Maybe I can pay you for your help." The man laughed softly. "No need for that. Helping someone is the best payment." Maya felt something warm inside her heart. She was surprised that someone she did not know could be so kind. They started walking together slowly. The man walked carefully so he would not drop anything. Maya watched his face. He seemed calm and peaceful, like he was in no rush at all. "Are you heading home?" the man asked. "Yes," Maya said. "I live just a few blocks from here." "That's nice," he said. "I'm Nolan, by the way." "Maya," she said, feeling a little more comfortable. They kept walking, and Maya felt that the heavy weight on her shoulders was a little lighter. She thought that meeting someone like Nolan was a small miracle today. As they reached her apartment building, Nolan stopped and said, "Here we are. I'm glad I met you today, Maya." Maya smiled. "Me too." She opened the door and turned to Nolan. "Thank you again for your help." "Anytime," Nolan said. "If you ever need help, just ask." Maya nodded and went inside. She closed the door gently behind her. Standing in her small apartment, Maya looked at the food on the table. It was not much, but it was enough for tonight. She felt grateful for the day's small kindness. She thought about Nolan and the gentle smile on his face. Maybe, just maybe, something good was waiting for her in the days ahead. Maya sat down with a deep breath and started to prepare her dinner. The orange sky outside slowly turned dark, but inside her heart, there was a little light, a small hope that life could change in simple, kind ways. The next morning, Maya woke up feeling a little lighter than usual. The kindness of the stranger from yesterday stayed in her mind. She thought about how rare it was to meet someone who truly cared without asking for anything in return. Her small apartment was quiet as she prepared her breakfast, but inside her heart, a soft warmth grew. Maya went to work as usual. She worked in a small store, helping customers and arranging shelves. The job was not easy, and the pay was not much, but it helped her live day by day. Still, she dreamed of a better life, where she did not have to worry so much. During her lunch break, Maya's phone buzzed. It was a message from a number she did not know. "Hello Maya, this is Nolan. It was nice meeting you yesterday. Would you like to have coffee sometime? No pressure, just a friendly chat." Maya blinked. It was the same man who helped her with her groceries. She smiled softly and replied, "Thank you, Nolan. I would like that." They agreed to meet at a small cafe in the city the next afternoon. Maya felt a little nervous but excited too. She wondered what kind of person Nolan really was beyond the kindness he showed. The next day, Maya arrived at the cafe a little early. She chose a quiet corner and waited. Soon, Nolan walked in. He wore a simple shirt and jeans, very different from the suit he had yesterday. His smile was warm as he saw Maya. "Hello, Maya," Nolan said as he sat down. "Thank you for coming." Maya smiled back. "Thank you for inviting me." They ordered coffee, and the small talk began. Nolan asked about her work, her dreams, and her family. Maya felt comfortable talking to him. Nolan listened carefully, without interrupting or judging. "You have a strong heart, Maya," Nolan said after a while. "I can tell you have faced many challenges, but you keep going." Maya looked down, feeling a little shy. "Sometimes, it is hard. I worry about the future." Nolan nodded. "I understand. Life can be difficult. But it is also full of surprises. Sometimes, help comes from the most unexpected places." Maya looked at him and felt a deep trust. Nolan's eyes were kind, and his voice was calm. She believed he truly cared. They talked for over an hour. Nolan shared stories about his work, but also about simple things like his love for reading and how he enjoyed walks in the park. He was not just a businessman, he was a man who valued quiet moments and kindness. Before they left, Nolan said, "Maya, if you ever need help or someone to talk to, please don't hesitate to reach out." Maya nodded, feeling grateful. "Thank you, Nolan. You have already helped me more than you know." As they said goodbye, Maya felt a small spark of hope. Maybe this meeting was the beginning of something good. Over the next few days, Maya and Nolan sent messages to each other. They talked about books, music, and dreams. Maya found herself smiling more, feeling less alone. One afternoon, Nolan invited Maya to visit a community center he helped support. It was a place where people could come to learn new skills, get help with their problems, or just find a friendly face. Maya was curious but also nervous. She worried if she would fit in or if it was too good to be true. When she arrived, Nolan was there to greet her. The center was warm and welcoming, full of bright colors and friendly faces. Maya met other people who, like her, were trying to find their way. Nolan introduced her to the staff and showed her around. "We believe everyone deserves a chance to grow," he said. Maya felt inspired. For the first time, she saw a place where her hopes could become real. Over the next weeks, Maya started visiting the center regularly. She took classes on computers and communication. She met people who encouraged her and helped her build confidence. Nolan was always there not just as a rich man, but as a friend who wanted to see others succeed. One evening, after a busy day at the center, Maya thanked Nolan. "You have changed my life, Nolan. I never thought someone like you would care about someone like me." Nolan smiled softly. "Sometimes, the greatest happiness comes from helping others. And I am lucky to have met you, Maya. Maya looked at him and felt that life had new colors. The weight of worries was still there, but now it was lighter because of hope and friendship. That night, as she lay in bed, Maya thought about the small grocery bag she dropped weeks ago. It had led her to a stranger, who was not just a stranger anymore. He was someone who could help her find a better tomorrow. Maya felt the soft glow of hope in her heart, but her days were still filled with worry and struggle. She worked hard at the small store, her hands often tired and her feet aching from standing so long. Yet, every time she thought of Nolan and the community center, she felt a little stronger, a little braver. One chilly morning, Maya was walking to work. She carried her bag carefully, thinking about the tasks ahead. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Nolan. "Would you like to have dinner with me this Saturday? Just a simple meal and good company. No business, no pressure." Maya's heart jumped. Dinner with Nolan? She wasn't sure. What if it was too much? What if she wasn't ready? She looked around, but the street was busy, and no one seemed to notice her hesitation. She typed back slowly, "Thank you, Nolan. I would like that." Saturday came quickly. Maya chose her best dress, not too fancy, just something clean and comfortable. She wanted to look nice but not like she was trying too hard. Her hands shook a little as she got ready. What would Nolan be like at dinner? Would he expect something more? When she arrived at the small restaurant Nolan had chosen, he was already there, waiting. His smile was the same warm one she remembered. He stood up and gently took her hand to help her to the table. "Hello, Maya," he said softly. "You look wonderful." Maya felt a blush rise to her cheeks. "Thank you, Nolan. You look nice too." They sat down, and the waiter brought menus. Nolan suggested a few simple dishes, and Maya chose something she liked, the kind of food that reminded her of home. As they waited for the food, Nolan looked at Maya with kind eyes. "How have you been feeling lately?" Maya thought for a moment. "Better," she said quietly. "I feel like I have more hope now. The community center, your kindness, it means a lot." Nolan nodded. "I'm glad. Sometimes, small things can make a big difference. Life is not just about work or money. It's about kindness and connection." Maya smiled. She had never met someone who talked about life like this before. Most people only cared about themselves or their jobs. Their food arrived, and they ate slowly, enjoying the quiet comfort of the meal. Nolan shared stories from his childhood, about the simple joys he found in nature and reading books under a big tree. Maya listened closely, imagining a world so different from hers. After dinner, Nolan suggested a walk. The evening air was cool but not cold. They walked slowly through the quiet streets, talking about dreams and fears. Maya told Nolan about her childhood. She grew up in a small town far away and moved to the city to find work. Life was not always easy, but she never gave up. Nolan shared that he had faced many challenges too, though his were different. He explained that behind every success, there were many hard days and lonely nights. They reached a small park with benches under tall trees. They sat and watched the stars begin to appear in the dark sky. "Sometimes," Nolan said softly, "we all need someone to believe in us." Maya looked at him and felt a tear slip down her cheek. It was not a sad tear, but one of relief. She had never felt so understood. "Thank you for believing in me," she whispered. Nolan reached out and gently wiped the tear away. "You have a strong heart, Maya. Never forget that." The night grew deeper, and they said goodbye at Maya's apartment door. Nolan promised to visit the community center again soon. Maya closed the door and leaned against it, feeling a mix of emotions: hope, nervousness, and a growing trust. She realized that Nolan was not just a stranger or a kind businessman. He was becoming a true friend. In the days that followed, Maya found herself looking forward to their meetings. She no longer felt alone in her struggles. With Nolan's gentle presence, the world seemed less heavy. One afternoon, Nolan called Maya with surprising news. "I want to offer you a job at the community center," he said. "It's small, but it will give you steady work and a chance to grow." Maya was stunned. She had never imagined such an offer. The job would mean so much: a steady income and a place where she could help others like herself. "I don't know what to say," Maya replied, her voice trembling. "Say yes," Nolan said with a smile. "I believe in you, Maya." That day marked a new beginning. Maya felt a courage she had never known before. With Nolan's help and her own hard work, she could face the future with hope. And as the days passed, their friendship grew stronger, a quiet bond built on kindness, trust, and the promise of a better tomorrow. Maya was both excited and nervous as she prepared for her first day working at the community center. The small job meant a lot to her. It was more than just money, it was a chance to build something new. She wanted to do well and show Nolan that he had made the right choice. That morning, she woke up early. She dressed neatly in a simple blouse and pants. Before leaving her small apartment, she looked at herself in the mirror. She smiled softly and took a deep breath. "I can do this," she told herself. The community center was a bright and lively place, filled with people from all walks of life. Some came for classes, some for help, and others just for a warm smile. Maya felt welcome immediately. Nolan was there when she arrived. He greeted her with his usual gentle smile. "Good morning, Maya. Ready for your first day?" Maya nodded. "Yes, I am." He showed her around, introducing her to the staff and explaining her duties. She would help with organizing events, talking with visitors, and sometimes teaching small classes. The work was not difficult, but it was meaningful. During her first break, Nolan invited Maya to sit with him in the small cafe inside the center. They ordered coffee and sat at a quiet table near the window. The warm steam from the coffee cups filled the air. Outside, the sun shone softly through the glass, casting a calm light across the room. Nolan looked at Maya kindly. "How are you feeling about everything so far?" Maya smiled. "It feels good. I like helping people. It makes me feel useful." Nolan nodded. "That is important. Sometimes, when we help others, we help ourselves too." They talked about many things during their coffee break. Nolan asked Maya about her dreams and hopes for the future. She told him she wanted to continue learning and maybe one day open her own small shop. She dreamed of a place where people could buy fresh food and meet friends. Nolan listened carefully. "That is a wonderful dream, Maya. I believe you can make it happen." Maya felt a warmth inside. His belief in her gave her strength. Nolan then shared stories from his own life. He told her about his childhood, about the lessons he learned from his parents, and how he had started working hard at a young age. "I did not have everything," he said. "But I had people who believed in me. That made all the difference." Maya realized that Nolan was not just a rich man who gave money, he was someone who understood the value of kindness and support. As they finished their coffee, Nolan stood up and said, "I want you to know, Maya, that I'm here for you. Not just as your employer, but as a friend." Maya felt tears well up, but she smiled through them. "Thank you, Nolan. That means more than I can say." The days at the community center passed quickly. Maya learned new skills and made new friends. She met people who had stories similar to hers, people who had faced hard times but refused to give up. One afternoon, Maya helped organize a small event to teach cooking and nutrition. She was nervous at first but soon found joy in helping others learn. The laughter and smiles in the room made her heart feel full. Nolan watched from a distance, proud of how far Maya had come. He knew this was only the beginning. One evening, as the center closed, Maya and Nolan walked outside together. The stars were beginning to shine in the dark sky. "Thank you for believing in me," Maya said softly. Nolan smiled. "You have always had the strength, Maya. Sometimes, we just need a little help to see it." Maya looked up at the sky, feeling hope grow inside her. She knew the road ahead would not be easy, but with friends like Nolan and the community center, she was ready to face whatever came next. That night, as Maya lay in bed, she thought about the small moments that had changed her life: the dropped grocery bag, a stranger's kindness, a simple invitation to coffee. She realized that life was full of surprises and that sometimes, the smallest things could lead to the greatest changes. With a peaceful heart, Maya closed her eyes and dreamed of the future, a future filled with hope, friendship, and new beginnings. Maya's new job at the community center brought a fresh sense of purpose to her life. Every day, she woke up feeling hopeful. She looked forward to meeting people, learning new things, and helping others just like her. But beneath the surface, her worries were still there, quiet and persistent. One afternoon, after a long day of work, Maya sat alone on a bench outside the center. The sun was low in the sky, and the soft breeze gently moved the leaves on the trees. She held her phone in her hand but did not want to call anyone. Instead, she stared at the screen, thinking about the struggles she faced. Her job at the store was still uncertain. Sometimes, her manager called her in for fewer hours, saying business was slow. The rent for her small apartment was due soon, and she was not sure if she could pay it fully this month. Bills kept piling up, and the fear of losing her home pressed heavily on her heart. As she sat there, Nolan came out of the building. He noticed her sitting alone and walked over quietly. "Hi, Maya," he said softly. "Are you okay?" Maya looked up and smiled weakly. "I'm fine, just a little tired." Nolan sat beside her. "You don't have to carry everything alone. Sometimes, sharing worries can make them lighter." Maya hesitated but then nodded. She trusted Nolan. Slowly, she opened up about her fears about money, work, and the future. Nolan listened without interrupting. When she finished, he said gently, "Thank you for trusting me." Maya felt a warmth in her chest. It was comforting to have someone listen without judging. "I wish I could do more," Nolan said after a moment. "You deserve a chance to live without constant fear." Maya looked at him, surprised. "Sometimes, I feel like I'm stuck in a never-ending cycle." Nolan smiled kindly. "Maybe it's time to break that cycle. I want to help, but only if you're ready." Maya thought about it. She was tired of struggling alone. She wanted to believe things could get better. "Okay," she said quietly. "I'm ready." Nolan reached into his pocket and pulled out an envelope. "This is a small gift to help with your rent and expenses. No need to worry about paying it back." Maya's eyes widened. She wanted to refuse but knew she couldn't. Her heart filled with gratitude and relief. "Thank you," she whispered. "You don't know how much this means." Nolan smiled. "You're stronger than you think, Maya. And this is just the beginning." Over the next weeks, Maya used the help wisely. She paid her rent on time and bought some extra food. The pressure on her shoulders felt lighter. But more important than the money was the support Nolan gave. He checked in often, not as a boss, but as a friend who cared deeply. One day, Nolan invited Maya to meet some people at the community center who had also faced hard times. They shared stories, hopes, and dreams. Maya realized she was not alone. She started to see herself differently, not just as someone struggling, but as a person with strength and potential. Her confidence grew, and she began to take more responsibility at the center. She helped organize events and taught others what she learned. One afternoon, after a successful event, Nolan praised her. "You're doing amazing, Maya. I'm proud of you." Maya smiled, feeling proud too. It was a new feeling, believing in herself. But despite all this progress, Maya knew there were still challenges ahead. Sometimes, fear returned in quiet moments. She worried about losing the job or facing unexpected bills. Nolan noticed this. One evening, he sat with Maya and said, "It's okay to feel afraid. What matters is not giving up." Maya nodded. "With you by my side, I think I can keep going." Nolan reached out and gently squeezed her hand. "You're not alone." Maya looked into his eyes and saw a promise that she had someone who believed in her, no matter what. That night, Maya felt a peace she had never known. The road ahead might be hard, but she was ready to face it with courage and hope. She whispered to herself, "I'm not alone anymore." And with that, she closed her eyes and dreamed of a future filled with light and love. Maya felt the days changing, not just outside but inside her heart. She had started to believe in herself, and with Nolan's quiet support, the world seemed a little less heavy. The community center had become a place where she could grow, learn, and find friends. But deep down, Maya still held a secret dream, a dream she had never told anyone. One sunny afternoon, after finishing her work at the center, Maya sat with Nolan on a bench outside. The soft breeze touched their faces, and the city hummed quietly around them. "Nolan," Maya said softly, "I want to tell you something." Nolan looked at her with kind eyes. "I'm listening, Maya." Maya took a deep breath. "I have always wanted to open a small shop, a place where people can come to buy fresh food, but also a place to meet and feel welcome." Nolan smiled warmly. "That is a beautiful dream." Maya's eyes shone with hope. "But I don't know how to start. I don't have much money, and I don't know if I'm good enough." Nolan shook his head gently. "You are stronger and more capable than you think. And I want to help you." Maya looked surprised. "You do?" "Yes," Nolan said. "I believe in you. And I want to support your dream." For the first time, Maya felt truly hopeful. Maybe her dream could come true. Over the next few days, Nolan helped Maya plan. They talked about what kind of shop she wanted, where it could be, and how to make it a place people would love. Nolan introduced her to people who could teach her about business and finances. Maya worked hard, learning new things every day. She saved money from her job at the community center, and Nolan's small gift helped her with the first steps. One morning, Maya stood outside a small empty shop in her neighborhood. The walls were old, and the windows needed cleaning, but Maya saw something special. "This is the place," she said softly to Nolan. He smiled. "It has great potential." Together, they cleaned and fixed the shop. Maya painted the walls a soft yellow, making the space bright and welcoming. She arranged shelves and planned where to put fresh fruits, vegetables, and baked goods. Nolan helped her contact local farmers and bakers who wanted to sell their products in the shop. Slowly, the dream began to take shape. Opening day arrived, and Maya felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. She stood by the door, ready to welcome the first customers. To her surprise, many people from the community came to support her. Friends from the center, neighbors, and even strangers came to see the new shop. Maya smiled as she served fresh bread and juicy apples. The shop was not big, but it felt warm and alive. People chatted, laughed, and enjoyed the simple pleasure of fresh food and friendly faces. Nolan stood nearby, watching with pride. He saw the happiness in Maya's eyes and knew that this was just the beginning. As the day ended, Maya thanked everyone for coming. She looked at Nolan and said, "Thank you for believing in me and helping me make this dream real." Nolan smiled softly. "You did all the hard work. I only helped a little." Maya shook her head. "You helped me believe." The days turned into weeks, and the shop grew. Maya found joy in every moment, talking to customers, arranging fresh goods, and creating a place where people felt welcome. Her life was changing, and so was she. One evening, after closing the shop, Maya and Nolan sat together under the stars. The city was quiet and peaceful. Maya looked at Nolan with a smile. "Thank you for being my friend." Nolan reached out and gently held her hand. "And thank you for letting me be part of your life." Maya felt a warmth spread through her. She had come a long way from the day she dropped her grocery bag on the street. Now, she had a new beginning, a life filled with hope, friendship, and dreams coming true. And with Nolan by her side, Maya knew she could face whatever the future held. Weeks turned into months, and Maya's life continued to bloom like a flower in sunlight. Her little shop, Maya's Fresh Corner, had become more than just a place to buy food. It had turned into a small part of the community. Children came after school to grab fruit. Neighbors stopped by for warm bread and friendly conversations. Elderly people who once felt lonely now had a place to visit and smile. Maya loved every part of it. The early mornings. The smell of fresh produce. The laughter of people chatting inside. She no longer felt afraid of what tomorrow would bring. But even as her days grew brighter, Maya never forgot the person who helped her believe again. One rainy afternoon, when the shop was quiet, Maya made 2 cups of tea and sat across from Nolan at the small wooden table near the window. Outside, the rain tapped gently against the glass. Inside, everything felt calm and warm. "I was thinking about the day we met," Maya said, holding her cup in both hands. Nolan smiled. "The grocery bag?" She laughed softly. "Yes. I was so embarrassed. I thought no one would stop. But you did." Nolan leaned back in his chair. "That day changed something for both of us, I think." Maya looked at him, her eyes gentle. "You changed my life, Nolan. You gave me more than help, you gave me trust. You saw something in me that I couldn't see in myself." He shook his head slowly. "No, Maya. You already had everything inside you. You just needed someone to remind you." They sat in silence for a while, listening to the soft rain and the ticking of the small clock on the wall. After a moment, Maya spoke again. "Do you ever get tired of helping people?" she asked. Nolan looked thoughtful. "Not when it's real. Not when I see people like you grow and find joy again. It's the best feeling." Maya smiled. "I hope I can do the same for someone else one day." "You already are," Nolan said. "You just don't realize it." Later that evening, as they locked up the shop, Maya and Nolan walked side by side. The streets were wet, and small puddles reflected the lights of the buildings. People passed by, holding umbrellas and laughing under the gentle rain. They stopped at the same bench where they had spoken many times before, the one near the community center. Maya looked up at the sky. "I never imagined life could feel like this. Not long ago, I thought everything was falling apart." Nolan glanced at her, then at the street lights glowing softly. "And now?" Maya looked at him with quiet joy. "Now, I feel like I'm finally living." Nolan nodded. "That's the real success." He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a small, wrapped box. "I have something for you." Maya looked surprised. "What is it?" "Open it," he said with a gentle smile. She unwrapped the small box carefully. Inside was a beautiful keychain shaped like a sunflower. Attached to it was a silver key. She looked up at Nolan, confused. "What's this for?" Nolan smiled warmly. "It's the key to a second shop. A small space, not far from here. I thought maybe one day you'd like to grow your dream a little more." Maya was speechless. Her hands trembled slightly as she held the key. "I don't know what to say," she whispered. "You don't have to say anything," Nolan replied. Just promise me one thing: never stop believing in yourself. Maya felt tears in her eyes. Not because she was sad, but because her heart was full. I promise, she said. They stood together in the quiet street, the rain finally starting to fade. A soft wind blew through the trees, carrying with it a feeling of peace. Maya looked at the key again, then up at Nolan. You didn't just give me a job, or a shop, or a key, she said. You gave me a life. A new one. Nolan gently touched her shoulder. And you made it beautiful. As they walked home that night, Maya felt something she hadn't felt in a long time: complete. She knew there would still be challenges. Life was never perfect. But now, she had courage. She had friends. And she had a heart full of trust. A simple drop of a grocery bag had brought two strangers together. And in that one unexpected moment, a story had begun: a story of kindness, second chances, and quiet love. The end of one chapter, but the beginning of many more.